I discovered my wife was cheating, hired a paralegal, and before I could get home, she disappeared without a trace. It began with a photograph. Michael Crane, a 39-year-old architect from Chicago, lived a life built on precision, straight lines, solid foundations, no surprises. He'd built his career designing luxury homes for people who wanted perfection. And somewhere along the way, he thought he'd built the same thing in his marriage. His wife, Rachel, had been the calm to his storm, gentle, soft-spoken, the kind of woman who left love notes in his lunch bag and kissed his temple before he fell asleep. For 12 years, Michael believed their life was ordinary in the best possible way. Until a Thursday night changed everything. He was working late, buried under blueprints and coffee stains, when an email popped up on his screen. No sender name, no subject line, just 3 words in the preview bar. "You deserve to know." He almost deleted it. But curiosity, that small, cruel thing that ruins peace, made him open it. Inside was a single image. Rachel, sitting in a dimly lit restaurant, her hand resting gently on another man's arm. She was smiling, that soft, familiar smile that once belonged to him. At first, Michael laughed. It had to be a joke, someone playing a cruel prank. But the longer he stared, the quieter the world became. The bracelet on her wrist, the one he bought for her 35th birthday. The blue dress, the same one from their last anniversary dinner. And the man? He recognized him immediately. Evan Ross, her co-worker. And once, Michael's own client. Something in him cracked. He didn't throw things, didn't yell. He just sat there, staring at the screen as if the truth had frozen time itself. The city outside kept moving, lights flickering, horns blaring. But inside his office, everything was still. That night, he drove home in silence. Rachel was asleep, her face peaceful, her phone glowing faintly on the nightstand. He wanted to wake her, demand answers. But instead, he just watched her breathe, as if trying to memorize the woman she'd been before she became someone he didn't know. By morning, he'd made a decision. He wouldn't confront her yet. He wanted proof. He needed to see it for himself before destroying what was left of his marriage. He hired a paralegal, Anna Ward, through a discreet contact at the firm. She was young but sharp, specializing in digital forensics. Her voice was calm and professional when she said, "I'll find what you're looking for, Mr. Crane. People always leave a trail, even when they think they're being careful." Within days, she delivered. Transaction records, hotel bookings, text backups, even one photo from a weekend retreat, Rachel and Evan at a luxury cabin by Lake Geneva, laughing, wine glasses in hand. Michael stared at the receipt. Room 214. 2 guests. The initials RC handwritten on the check-in form. That was enough. "I'll confront her tomorrow," he told Anna over the phone, voice hollow. No drama, just truth. But truth, he would soon learn, has a strange way of rewriting itself. When he arrived home the next evening, something was wrong. The front door was unlocked. The house felt too quiet. He called out her name once, then twice. Nothing. Upstairs, her closet was half empty, the jewelry box open, her car gone from the driveway, her phone number disconnected. Rachel Crane had vanished. He called the police, filed a missing person report, handed over the evidence of her affair, the emails, the bank transfers. But every detective he spoke to had the same answer. No leads, no activity, no trace. Days passed. Then weeks. The world kept moving, but Michael was trapped in a loop of unanswered questions. Then, one cold evening, Anna called. Her voice shook slightly. "Michael, you need to come to my office, now." When he arrived, she handed him a flash drive. "This was hidden inside your wife's encrypted emails," she said. "It looks like she wasn't hiding from you. She was investigating you." Michael blinked. "What are you talking about?" Anna hesitated. "Your company, your offshore accounts, and a man named Thomas Crane." The air went still. Michael's throat tightened. Thomas Crane was his brother, his dead brother. Anna frowned. She was digging into financial records linked to that name. Why would your wife be looking into your brother? Michael didn't answer. He couldn't. Because deep down, in some dark place he didn't want to revisit, he already knew something was wrong with that story. With Thomas's accident, the funeral that never quite added up, and the phone call he'd received the night before his brother supposedly died. Maybe Rachel hadn't run from guilt. Maybe she'd run from the truth. And maybe that truth had finally come back to him. The next few days unfolded like a nightmare that refused to end. Michael Crane stopped living and started existing. Food lost its taste, sleep became a stranger, and every shadow in his house felt like Rachel's ghost watching him, not lovingly, but warning him. The police had no leads. Friends offered empty sympathy, and Anna, his only ally in this spiraling mystery, had gone quiet. So Michael did what he always did when his world fell apart. He buried himself in logic. He combed through Rachel's laptop and the recovered files Anna had decrypted, searching for something, anything, that made sense. Most of the emails were gibberish strings of code, encrypted beyond his reach. But one stood out. It was unsent, sitting in her drafts like a message she'd wanted to send, but never dared to. If you're reading this, I didn't leave because of Evan. I left because of what I found. They're watching both of us. Don't trust anyone, not even the ones helping you. Or, Michael's heart pounded. Both of us. Who were they? What could Rachel have possibly found that made her run? Not just from him, but from everyone. And that line, don't trust anyone, not even the ones helping you. He thought of Anna, of her smooth professionalism, her quiet precision, how easily she'd found things he didn't know existed. A seed of doubt took root in his mind. That night, unable to sit still, Michael drove to his office. The streets were empty, the city silent under the orange haze of streetlights. He unlocked his computer, praying for clarity, and froze. His drives were wiped clean. Every project, every document, gone. Years of work vanished as if someone had scrubbed his life off the digital map. And then he saw it, a new folder on the desktop. No label. Just a single blinking icon. He double-clicked it. A video loaded. The footage was grainy, recorded from a street camera across from his house. The timestamp read 2 weeks before Rachel disappeared. He saw her, Rachel, standing on their front lawn, arguing with a man partially off-screen. Then the man stepped forward. Michael's heart stopped. It was Thomas, his brother, the one buried 7 years. Ego. Michael's entire body went cold. His hands trembled as he turned up the volume. Rachel's voice came through, shaking. You lied to me. You said he'd never find out. Thomas's voice was calm, almost bored. Then don't make him. You weren't supposed to look at the accounts, Rachel. You don't know what's at stake. She tried to pull away, but he grabbed her arm. Now it's too late. The screen went black. Michael sat frozen for a long time. Every logical part of him screamed that it was fake, deep fake footage, edited, manipulated. But his gut knew the truth. The tilt of Thomas's head, the scar above his brow from a childhood fight. It was him, alive, which meant the crash, the funeral, the sealed casket, all lies. And Rachel had known. Michael drove straight to Anna's apartment, gripping the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping him tethered to reality. When he reached her building, the door to her unit was cracked open. Anna, he called, stepping inside. The air smelled of dust and burnt plastic. The lights were off, papers littered the floor, and her computer, the one she'd used to uncover Rachel's secrets, was smashed beyond recognition. She was gone. On her desk sat an envelope with his name on it. He opened it slowly. Inside, A handwritten note, the same looping script Rachel used when she signed birthday cards. Now you know, Michael. Thomas isn't who you think. Neither am I. Don't come looking for me. You won't like the truth. He stared at the words until they blurred. Then he read them again and again. When he finally stumbled out of the apartment, dawn was breaking. The kind of gray, heavy light that makes everything look half dead. By the time he reached the police station, he already knew what they'd say. There was no record of any Anna Ward in the legal database. No license, no employment history, no address. The woman who'd uncovered his wife's secrets had never existed. 2 women. Both vanished. One man, supposedly dead, alive and hiding in plain sight. Michael didn't know which haunted him more. The betrayal, the lies, or the feeling that someone was still watching him. Days bled into weeks. He stopped going to work. He disconnected his phone. He waited for something, a call, a sign, a clue. Then, 6 months later, it came. The TV droned in the background as Michael stared out the window of his apartment, nursing a glass of whiskey that had gone warm hours ago. A breaking news alert flashed across the screen. Authorities confirm a cabin fire in Montana. 2 bodies recovered. Investigation ongoing. He barely paid attention until he saw the image. A bracelet. Charred, but recognizable. The same silver one he'd bought for Rachel years ago, engraved with her initials. Michael sank back into his chair, the glass slipping from his hand and shattering on the floor. He turned off the TV, the silence pressing down like a weight. That's when he noticed the envelope on his desk. No postage, just his name, written in sharp, deliberate handwriting. His stomach dropped. He tore it open. Inside was a single photograph. 2 figures, standing in front of a cabin. His brother, Thomas, older now, his smile faint but real, and beside him, Rachel, alive. On the back of the photo, one line was written in ink that smeared slightly, as if the writer had hesitated before finishing. "You were never supposed to find us." Michael stared until his vision blurred. The photo slipped from his hand, landing face down on the floor, as outside, somewhere in the night, a black car idled by the curb, headlights off.